I got sent to a video of one Tim Keller talking about how you should only have sex within the bonds of marriage. Let's check it out. Wait a second. He's named Tim. Bald. Huh. What an interesting coincidence. Wait a second. Huh. His wife is named Catherine too? Is he me from another dimension?
Porn is destructive because if sex is like money, then porn is a massive devaluation of the currency.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. First off, your analogy is broken. Sex is not like money because unlike sex, money can be exchanged for goods and services. Good point. Quick economics lesson. Money is used as a medium for exchange precisely because, outside of collectors, the pieces of paper, coins, and even the ones and zeros in your bank account have no intrinsic value in themselves. Money's value comes from what it can purchase. Sex can't be seen as a direct analogy for money in terms of value because currency has value for what it can do, while, for most people, the sex itself is what's valuable. Anyway, when you use a simile like that, you should explain how the first thing is like the second thing. For example, I could say that sex is like driving, an intrinsically enjoyable activity which can also have various practical applications. Now, if we were to use this analogy, we could say that if sex is like driving, then porn is the equivalent of watching a Fast and Furious movie. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them, but shows a massive exaggeration of how it can be when compared to the real world. And, while you know most people do it, it would be very embarrassing to get caught watching it by your family and friends.
Sex inside of a committed marriage is magic. It's like blowing on the coals of this incredible, beautiful, and powerful flame. Sex outside of marriage is just a way of not giving yourself, but of receiving fulfillment and pleasure.
Wow. Then I've been doing sex wrong for most of my life. I've always thought it was about mutual pleasure. I found that sex is much better if both, or all, the participants are enjoying it. In fact, looking like this, I've tended to lean towards the giving end of the spectrum because, quite frankly, if my partners enjoyed what I do, there's a better chance it'll happen again in the future.
And like all addictions, the more you do it, the less payoff there is. It's like an addiction, and the more you do it, the less payoff. So it becomes less and less and less powerful and less pleasurable. Whereas sex inside marriage, where you're not so much taking as giving.
Again, I found the opposite. It was after my wife and I had been together for a while, but before we got a piece of paper saying we were married, that we both finally felt comfortable with each other enough that we both started edging towards the taking end of the spectrum. We reached the point in our relationship that we trusted one another enough that we felt comfortable letting the other know exactly what we wanted. This may sound like an unintuitive leap, but when you find a partner that you can both feel comfortable being selfish with, you've got a keeper.
I can just say, personally, after years and years and years of doing this with my wife, with one woman, it becomes sweeter and more pleasurable and more powerful and more transforming as the years go by.
Yes, I don't deny that sex with a long-term partner can be great, and gets better the more you know your partner's needs and wants, and they know yours. My wife and I have hooked up with others since we got together, and while that can be a fun change of pace, the best times are between the two of us. The more you know each other, the better you can get at knowing and anticipating each other's needs. But if you have no frame of reference, you can't judge how good your partnership is. Let's look at types of relationships like ice cream, in that most of us agree that both a good relationship and a delicious bowl of ice cream would be great to have. Chocolate ice cream is delicious. Maybe it's all you'll ever want. But if it's all you've ever had, you might not find out there's something you enjoy more. Maybe you only want to have chocolate, and you're okay with only trying one flavor and sticking with it. If that makes you happy, then go for it. But there's no need to look down on those who try to find the flavor that will make them happiest. My ex was the second person I'd been with, and the first long-term relationship I was ever in. I had no frame of reference and assumed that we had a good relationship. The fact that I call her my ex should be an indicator that things weren't perfect. Looking back, it's obvious that we both were just not right for each other, and luckily, we both found people we meshed with better. But, with no comparative point of view, Looking back, it's obvious that we both were just not right for each other, and luckily, we both found people we meshed with better. But, with no comparative point of view, I couldn't see that at the time. My relationship with my wife is that much healthier because I have a better perspective as to what I was looking for. Thanks? My wife had partners before me as well, which helped her learn what she enjoyed and what she didn't, so she knew what she was looking for, and I'm quite thankful she found that with me.
Even when actually neither of you look as good as you did before, and in some ways, what a lot of things that people think have to be there as part of sex just aren't there when you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And yet it's actually a more powerful experience because you haven't devalued the currency.
Again, you have not explained how sex is any kind of currency. Until you've done that, your analogy will not hold together. In fact, if I want to use that simile, since I'm able to compare the sex with my current wife to past partners, it shows how much better it is with her, increasing its value to me.
Sex is a way of saying to another person, I belong completely and exclusively and permanently to you. And that's something you can only say inside marriage. And when you use sex to say that, it really is incredibly valuable and rich.
No, sex, in and of itself, does not mean you belong, in your words, completely, exclusively, and permanently to that person. If you only want to have sex with the person you're going to marry, then do that. More power to you. However, it is your actions themselves, how you treat your partners, which will tell how good your relationship is. Sex itself is a great activity, often quite enjoyable, and of course necessary for the next generation. But in itself is only one part of the tapestry that makes up a strong, equal, long-term relationship. Like I said, if you only want to have sex with the person you marry, and only have the ceremony, if that's important to you, go for it, whatever makes you happiest. But if you do plan on having sex with somebody, remember there can be consequences to it, so be smart and be safe.
Hey, sweetie, what you doing?
Watching porn?
Okay, have fun.